warm welcome to you all to the one-on-one set. In the studio tonight, we have with us Séphora Vieillesse. She is the second runner-up for Miss Universe Mauritius 2024 and also a head fitness coach. Tonight, during this episode of One-on-One, Séphora is going to share with us her passion for fitness, but also her journey in the world of pageantry. Séphora, thank you so much for joining us in the studio of the MBC.
Thank you for having me.
Séphora, so you are a head fitness coach. First of all, share with us, how did you develop this passion for the world of sports and fitness?
So it started off in my childhood, and I was the contrary. I was not good at sports, and I was actually overweight, so my confidence was not really there in sports. And then later on, in my last years of primary school, we were introduced to athletics. And since I was overweight, I had quite some power, and I was good at all the throws. So whether it was javelin, discus, or shot put. And I was really good at it. So this slowly started to build my confidence and went into athletics. I joined the Bamboo Athletic Club and then later on discovered Zumba and a bunch of different fitness classes where I completely fell in love, and I was fortunate enough to find my way at a very young age.
So it's been how many years? 10 years?
So I started athletics, I think it's been 12 years ago. And now Zumba 10 years ago, 6 years as a certified instructor. I started body combat around 2017 and started giving classes last year.
You know, Zumba is known for its fun and energetic routine. So what do you love most about teaching Zumba, and how do you keep your classes, entertaining as well?
Well, what I love about Zumba, it's a super fun way of doing fitness. A lot of us think about sports being very boring and doing the same thing or running for hours or jumping for hours, where there are so many different ways you can pick to become fit. What I love about Zumba is that it's inspired by dance. I've always loved to dance, whether it was Sega when I was little or even, the dance shows with the schools. I've always loved this, and I never knew that you could actually mix fitness and dance together. And what I love about this is that when you go to a Zumba class, you don't feel like you're doing sports. You don't feel like you're being active because you're having so much fun. And by the end of the class, you realize, oh my God, I sweat so much and I actually got going and I did burn a lot of calories. And that's what I love about Zumba. And same for body combat as well.
Yeah, that's true. I think Zumba is a way, to keep you physically fit, but also it helps a lot with the mental health.
It does. Fitness is not only about the physical health, it's also about your mental. First of all, it makes you become stronger and it helps you overcome a lot of, we all have different issues in our lives. We're all facing different situations in our life. And when you focus on this fitness aspect, you also become stronger mentally.
That's so true. And body combat is actually high intensity workout. Talk to us about the concept of body combat and how did you really get into it? I feel that's quite different from other fitness workouts.
It is very different. Body combat has been created by Les Mills years ago. What it is that it's a very high intensity cardio workout, but inspired by martial arts.
Okay.
So in contrary, for example, by Zumba, which is inspired by dance, in body combat, we're going to explore boxing, taekwondo, kata, capoeira, muay thai, kickboxing, whatever is martial arts related, but in a fitness and cardio manner. I started that years ago. It was around 2017, as I mentioned. And I did discover that because my dad was an ex-boxing champion back in his earlier years. And I always thought I wanted to keep that legacy in the family, but I wasn't into boxing as he was. So I met a coach back then who introduced me to fitness coaching sessions, but included boxing in it since my coach as well was an ex-boxing champion. And then he told me, well, you should try body combat classes because it's a mix of both. I tried it. It was chaotic, my first class, but I loved it. So this is the main difference between Zumba and body combat.
So what's the true aim of body combat? To lose weight, to build muscles?
Well, in body combat, what's interesting is that you're going to work your cardio, you're going to work your agility, your endurance, and there's also a part of conditioning. So it's not only focusing on cardio, but the different aspects of fitness, whether it's your speed, your endurance, your agility. We're going to work all of that during the class. And the aim is to burn as much calories as possible. In a body combat class, if you're able to give fully and really be intense in your workout, you can burn around 600 calories, which is huge.
Wonderful. And what about, body balance? What is it exactly about?
So body balance is a contrary of all of that. Body balance is in our Zen classes. So the goal here is that actually it's inspired by Tai Chi, yoga, stretching, mobility. And at the end, there's a relaxation meditation part. So here you're going to work your mobility, you're going to take time to stretch and bring the energy down in your body and appreciate movement in your body.
So it's more about, the inner self, focusing on flexibility, mobility. It's
Exactly.
about that.
It's exactly that, yes.
And Séphora, for those who are new to fitness, what would you say are the main benefits for body combat and body balance or even Zumba? And how do they complement each other?
Well, for example, if you're into dancing, you would pick Zumba, right? Because you're having so much fun in your dancing. Then if you would go for more endurance and working out your conditioning and your form and learning new skills, because body combat is very technical. So if you're into learning those new skills, then body combat is perfect. And now added body balance is very important because now we tend on focusing on being active, moving a lot, burning calories, but we don't pay as much attention to stretching our muscles and relaxing and working on mobility, which actually helps us in the recovery part and it helps us to be more efficient in our training. So all of these actually complement each other.
So where do you practice actually? And are the classes open to anyone? How does it go, the training for
Yes.
these body balance and body combats?
So it's actually accessible to everyone. A lot of people feel intimidated when they say, oh my God, I never tried Zumba. Do I have a level to go to a Zumba class? Do I have the level to go to a body combat or to go to a body balance class? The beauty about all of that is that it's accessible to anyone, no matter your age, no matter your level in fitness, no matter your background or where you come from. All these classes are tailored to match different types of profiles. And my advice to people who come for the first time is just come as you are, take your time, follow your own rhythm, find your own rhythm. And if you need to take time maybe to stop a little bit, to look, maybe take time to learn, it's all about progress, right? It's like when you're going for an exam. When you go for an exam, you don't know anything about the subject. So you go to classes, you learn about the subject, and then you practice for your exams, you revise, you maybe do some test papers and you fail, and
Yeah.
you do other ones and you succeed, and then you
True.
succeed your exam. Sports is exactly the same thing.
It's about being consistent as well.
It's about being consistent and being able to add that to your lifestyle. I always say fitness is a lifestyle. It's not something, it shouldn't be a burden for you. You shouldn't feel like, oh my God, I have to go to my sports session. Yeah, I don't want to, but I'm forcing myself. Find a concept that is good for you, in which you actually take pleasure
Yeah.
and you actually enjoy going to it. And the moment you have that and the moment you're able to make it part of your lifestyle, you will easily get your consistency and your discipline.
It's also important, I feel, to have realistic expectation, right? When it comes to body goals and fitness workouts. What do you have to say about that?
As I mentioned, it's all about progress. We all need to start somewhere. And sometimes when we talk about ourselves and our bodies, we have really high expectations, as you mentioned. In our idea, in the society's idea, we have this perfect image of this perfect body that we should
Yeah.
be like this and we shouldn't be otherwise. And first of all, we are all different. You will not be the same as me. We are not the same as anyone else. We are very unique. Our body types are unique. Mentally, we are unique. In all the ways, we are unique. So our journey will not be the same as someone else. And it's important that we are patient with ourselves.
Yeah.
Patient with ourselves and even kind to ourselves. Because sometimes when we have so many expectations, we're really hard and really harsh onto ourselves. And this actually crushes us mentally. This drowns us. And this takes a lot of our energy. So you should pick different goals, small goals that are attainable, achieve them little by little, and then you will slowly reach your end goal.
Séphora, we know that fitness trends nowadays are always evolving. So how do you stay up to date with new workout techniques and, keep your classes fresh?
Well, no matter the age, we never stop learning. So there's never a moment where you say, okay, I know everything. Because everything is evolving and science, new researches are being done every day, every month, every year. So it's very important when you're in fitness to keep up to date with all those research. And it takes on to us, to find some free time and learn about maybe seeing new articles that are being written. New discoveries are being made about the human body. And the human body is amazing in so many ways. It surprises me every time. And so keeping up with everything, reading articles and even learning and doing little trainings here and there to always keep my classes up to date.
So you've probably seen a lot of transformation stories, I guess. Can you share a memorable experience of how your classes, whether Zumba, body combat, or body balance, have helped someone reach their fitness goals?
So I remember there was this one time where I gave Zumba classes on Mondays and Fridays. And there was this one person who would always be at the back of the class every time. And it was a guy. Because a lot of people say, and I want to clear this out, a lot of people say Zumba is for women. No, it's also for men. Men may enjoy dancing and may enjoy mixing fitness and dance together. And so because of that, he was always in the back of the class.
Oh.
And I saw him, there was a lot of people, and I always saw him and I told him, you should come in the front, you're so good. And he always told me, no, well, I don't feel like it. I don't think I've got the level. I'm like, who told you that? You should come. So little by little, he made his way to the front, to the front, to the front. And then to the point where he was in the front row. And then I told him, well, now you're in the front row. You should come with me on stage. And he's like, no, I can't. I don't have the confidence. What will people think about me? And I told him, listen, we don't care about what people think about you. If you feel good, if you feel yourself, if you're enjoying what you're doing, then you should come if you feel like it. And he was like, okay, I'm going to try. So he came, he tried, he loved it. Every time he would come on stage with me. And years later, I trained him to become a Zumba instructor. And now he is a licensed Zumba instructor. And this is one of the most beautiful stories. There's also another one, real quick. It's about this woman who came to my classes. And I noticed she wasn't looking at me.
Okay.
Her eyesight was not on me, but she was focusing on the person in front of her. But I saw that and I didn't mention anything. Well, I didn't say anything about it. And then once she came up to me and her husband accompanied her and she hit me on my shoulder. He tapped me and he said, my wife really likes your classes, but can you find someone who doesn't bother being in front of her every time? And I mentioned, well, can I ask you why? And then he said, well, because she is blind. My wife is blind and she can't see you, but she can see little movement. She can see silhouettes. And that's why she would always be behind someone to see what that person was doing because you were too far on the stage. Yeah. And I told him, okay, I'll find someone. So I talked to someone who was very regular to my classes. And I told her, do you mind if this person just comes behind you and follows the class? And she said yes. And then this woman, she came up to me and she was like, thank you for finding a solution because every time during my day, I look forward to my 5:30 p.m. Zumba class. I go through my whole day. I go to work. My motivation to go to work is because I know afterwards I'm coming straight to the Zumba class and I'm able to come to the Zumba class and participate with my disability.
Yeah.
And this made her stronger mentally and build up her confidence as well, which was beautiful.
Quite inspiring stories indeed, yes. So Séphora, as a fitness head instructor, I'm sure you know that mental well-being is important. We've talked about that. So how do you promote the mental wellness in your classes? And how do you personally, maintain balance in your busy schedule?
So in my classes, I always tell everyone, do never compare yourselves to whoever is next to you, in front of you, behind you in a class. We are all unique. As I mentioned, we're all different. We all have different journeys and different stories. So I always tell them, come to the classes as you are and focus on you. Right now, no one is looking at you. No one is there judging you, or she's moving better than me. She's not moving better than me, or she's this, she's that. No one is actually thinking about that. When I give my classes, I never look at people and tell, oh, she doesn't dance well, or she's not moving well. I'm actually really proud of them being in the class and enjoying themselves and actually staying fit. So remove this focus on being perfect and just come as you are and enjoy and embrace the process. And again, being kind and being patient with ourselves is something that I always tell my students as well. And in my life, I've got quite a busy schedule, and actually fitness helps me so much because I know that when I'm giving my classes or when I'm doing my own personal training sessions, I know that this is the moment where I get to cut off from my busy schedule. And after this, I've got all the endorphins kicking in and I feel so much energized and I feel so good that it helps me actually with my busy schedule.
And Séphora, what are the most common mistakes that you see beginners make, in Zumba, body combat, or even in body balance, and what are the ways to avoid them?
So one of the things that I actually notice is people giving too much right by the beginning and be pressuring themselves on, I need to do this, I need to do that. Well, because it's a fitness class and it's quite technical. Even Zumba, It's technical because it's dance moves, right? And body combat is technical because it's a lot of martial arts and a lot of movements that we don't do in our routines in our everyday life. In body balance as well, there are some stretches that you can't really master if you come for a first time. So I always tell people, take it slow. Take it slow when you come. Don't try to be over the top. Don't try to push too much, because think about safety as well. So if you need to take time during the class, stop a little bit, just watch, or maybe if you feel like you can't do it anymore, maybe you want to rest when during the class, for example, if you're not resting during a choreography, you can rest if you want. You can take some time, okay, breathe, grab some water if you want, take some time, breathe a little bit, and then come back. So take it slow, and then it will slowly build up.
But are you actually able to accommodate different fitness levels from beginners to advanced participants in your classes? How do you make sure that everyone reach their utmost potential?
What's very interesting is that, for example, in body combat, in body balance, we always have options.
Yeah.
So we have, for example, body combat is a very high impact class because there are a lot of jumps and a lot of kicks. And if a person comes to the class but, for example, is new, or doesn't master these movements yet, or for example, someone comes with a back injury or back pain or knee pain, there are always options and alternatives. For example, instead of doing jumping squats, you can just do the squats without impact. If in the choreography we're doing high kicks, then you can do your kicks but lower kicks to protect your lower back. So there are always options. Even in body balance, there are options if maybe you're pregnant, or maybe you can't you can't reach certain stretches fully. There are options to slowly get there. So this is what's really interesting, is that all of these classes are tailored to whatever level you find yourself in fitness.
And in body combat classes, do you actually also incorporate a self-defense technique for your participants?
So just to clear that out, in body combat, it's a fitness class. So it's a cardio class where you're going to boost your cardiovascular system, but it's inspired by martial arts. So you are doing some shadowing. You're not doing some sparring. So whatever punches you're giving or kicks that you're doing it in shadow, so not against someone. So you will learn a lot of boxing moves, but then if you want to really get into self-defense, then you should be taking self-defense classes on the side. But this is a good way to get an insight to it.
Great. Séphora, we know that when we practice any fitness workout, it's for the aim to tone our body, for weight gain, weight loss. But do you feel that it's also important to take consideration the nutrition element?
Of course. Whatever concerns change in your body, 70% of the change will depend on your nutrition, and the rest will be sports. Well, actually, so fitness, that means that fitness is actually the easiest part. And everything depends on your nutrition. So it's very important to find a nutrition, not necessarily a diet, but just a routine that you're able to keep on the long term, something that is very balanced and healthy for you to keep on the long term, not too strict at the beginning, and then you find yourself not being able to keep it on the long term, and then you end up giving up and going back to your bad eating habits. Keep it slow, add little changes, little adjustments, and then fully, work towards your goals.
And the factor of recovery is also important, right? So do you actually give advice to your students to, take care of that aspect as well, to take into consideration recovery?
Yes, recovery is very important, because what happens when you're doing workouts is that you're breaking little muscle tissues every time you're doing your workout. And recovery actually allows all those muscle tissues to stick back together. And that's when your muscles will be growing and developing. So if you're not taking into account your recovery, then you're not allowing those little tissues to get back together. And this is when, you're always feeling fatigued. Even though you're working out, you're energized, yes, but you're always feeling fatigued, or you might not see any changes happening. That's because you're not giving the time for your body to process whatever is you're making your body go through. So recovery is actually very important, along with sleep. Sleep as well is very important.
Séphora, you are actually also the second runner-up for Miss Universe Mauritius 2024. Beautiful achievement. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And so how was that journey? What really pushed you to participate in that pageant?
Well, it was a while since I didn't take on any new challenges. I think in 2023, I'm losing count of which year we are in. In 2023, my challenge was doing my own Zumba event. which I successfully was able to do. And then I was like, okay, I need another challenge for this year. And funny enough, a lot of people were asking me, okay, well, have you been a Miss Mauritius? Have you been into that pageant you should be? Have you been in the past? And I always said, no, I haven't. And just at that moment, I saw the little posters and everything being communicated on social media that the casting was on. And I told myself, okay, well, it's a once in a lifetime experience, right? You do this once in your life and it brings you maybe a lot of things. And I'm sure well, actually it does for sure. So I got into the casting, and a few weeks later, I got the email that I was in the top 16, and then the journey started. And I'm very thankful for this journey because I learned a lot of things. Pageantry is not at all things in the things that I do. I never did this. I never even developed an interest for it until I did the casting. So it was completely something new for me, and it was about getting out of my comfort zone. So this new challenge, I completely got out because I'm used to giving classes and I'm used to being in front of crowds, but doing my job, right?
Exactly.
And now it's completely different. Now you're focusing on your beauty, and you need to have a catwalk, and you need to know how to present yourself, and walking in heels, and having a good posture and everything that goes around it. And I thought it was a very good way as well to put forward my advocacy, which is fitness, which is my job basically. And if I can bring that and help change that in my community, then I would be more happy. So this is the reasons why I did this competition.
So do you feel that your identity as a fitness instructor has helped you to forge a strong personality, which may, have led you to be among the top participants for that contest?
I'm sure it did, because as I mentioned, when I was little, I didn't have a lot of confidence. And even going on to my teenage years, I was bullied a lot when I was in school, when I was in high school. And this made that I had a very low confidence, and fitness helped change all of that. And I think that if I hadn't been into fitness, I would not have reached this confidence level. And if I had not reached this confidence level, I would have never taken part into a competition like this. So for sure, fitness had a big part into that.
We are actually drawing towards the end of this episode, but before that, Séphora, so you are a head fitness coach, a second runner-up for Miss Universe Mauritius 2024. What's next for you now? Are you actually working on a current project?
Well, right now we're working on to the next Zumba event. So I did one, and really looking forward to be doing another one, maybe a greater one. And little projects, it's very important to always have new challenges and having new projects in your life. So yes, there are little projects, but we'll keep that a little secret.
And what advice would you like to give to youngsters who are watching you right now and encourage them to at least start practicing a fitness workout?
Well, my advice would be believe in yourself. And I know that it's so cliche and a lot of people say that, but it's true. Give yourself this chance. Because think about it, your body is like a temple. When you go to a temple, it's always nice looking outside. But when you go inside, everything is perfect. Everything is clean. Everything is on the top, right? So your body is exactly the same thing. As much as you take care of your physical appearance, take care of whatever is inside. Because if you're not taking care of your health, then you won't be able to enjoy the world and all the wonders of the world. So it's very, very important to get into fitness and also find something that will be pleasurable for you. Don't do something because you're forced to do it, but pick something out because you actually enjoy it, and you will be able to maintain it on the long term.
Thank you, Séphora, for these wise words. It was a delight to have you on the set tonight and learn more about your amazing journey.
Well, thank you for having me, Koyal.
Dear viewers, we have now come to the end of this episode. Thank you for your time. We hope to catch you next week at the same time, same channel. Have a great evening.